When I was walking through Barcelona, I saw kids dancing on the street for their TikTok videos. When I was walking through Warsaw, I saw the same thing. And I just came back from a walk in Soho in New York City, where I saw two guys standing on Broadway doing the NPC meme live on TikTok live. They were doing it on TikTok live, and it was so fun to watch. I'm about to put up a TikTok myself about it. And I respect these guys. If you thought I was going to be like, such losers, so embarrassing. No, I have a ton of respect for these guys who are out there on Broadway hustling. I don't know if people know this. I shared this on another podcast. Pinky Doll, she's one of the top NPC meme TikTok streamers. She makes, it used to be $3,000 per stream, but it's increased to like $9,000 per stream that she makes doing this NPC meme TikTok live stream. And so these guys out there on Broadway who are giving these pre-rehearsed phrases and moves to the tips that they get on TikTok, they could be out there making thousands of dollars even though they look embarrassing for this one stream. And I thought it was interesting to see. It was interesting to see them. They had on goofy outfits, and they were standing there literally on Broadway in the middle of the day with tons of people passing them by. Made for a very interesting TikTok live. That very smart move. When I was doing TikTok live on the East River, just the skyline of Manhattan was enough to get hundreds of people to stop concurrently on my TikTok live, out of curiosity, and see what was going on. We are on episode 49 of the Edward Show. Somehow we've done 49 daily episodes. I don't know how you all are still with me for that. Thank you. I want to read to you some lines from a Sam Altman essay. A couple of nights ago, while I was falling asleep, I was laying in bed and I was reading this essay from Sam Altman. It's called How to Be Successful. I believe I found this essay from, it was either the How to Take Over the World podcast or the Founders podcast. Both are amazing podcasts. And I read this entire essay. You can read it pretty fast, 10 to 15 minutes. Even for me, I'm a slow reader, but it's not too long. And I wrote down a bunch of lines that stuck out to me. And I didn't even write these down for the purpose of sharing on the podcast, but they're very good lines, and I want to share them. So I'm gonna just jump into it. Here's one. I used to hate criticism of any sort and actively avoided it. Now I try to always listen to it with the assumption that it's true, and then decide if I want to act on it or not. Truth-seeking is hard and often painful, but it is what separates self-belief from self-delusion. Sam Altman, by the way, most people know who Sam Altman is. If you don't, he was the president of Y Combinator for many years. Y Combinator is a top accelerator for startups. He was successful before then. He's a billionaire, and now he's co-founder and CEO, I believe it's CEO, of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. Brilliant guy. I actually think a lot of people don't like him. I think he's I think he has good intentions. He doesn't take a penny from OpenAI. He doesn't take a penny from OpenAI. I think he even has no stock in OpenAI. And he's already a billionaire. He doesn't need it. And he wants to make AI that benefits the world. I believe that is his mission. I actually believe that. Here's another quote. Oh, and what he said about the criticism, it's like, the more that I've gotten, I got like humbled in life. If you've ever been humbled in life, you realize you become very open to criticism. And then once you notice yourself becoming open to criticism, you improve faster. I have had the most rapid improvements in everything that I'm doing this year because I made myself so open to criticism. And it's exactly what Sam Altman says. You can't do everything, but you should let people tell you certain things as long as it doesn't demoralize you to the point where you're not going to act. You should for sure try to get criticism so you make the right moves. And it's so helpful. And I know so many people who can't accept criticism. They're terribly deluded, and they drive themselves into holes, and it's very sad to see. So I really like the whole, like, just to listen to it with the assumption it's true, and then decide if you want to act on it or not. Here's another. And this was my favorite. What I'm about to read you is my favorite quote from the essay. So he talks about curves where your business should be an exponential curve. And now here's him saying it about where it's like, it's hard to see what's in front, but like, as you keep going at it, you grow faster and faster and faster and faster. Here is, by the way, if you're listening, hoping that I'm going to talk about Twitter ads, I'll talk about it at the end. I'll talk about it at the end of this podcast. This isn't the Twitter X ads podcast. This is the Edward Show, but I'll talk about it because I know a lot of people want to hear. Here's a quote. You also want to be an exponential curve yourself. You should aim for your life to follow an ever increasing up and to the right trajectory. It's important to move towards a career that has a compounding effect. Most careers progress fairly linearly. In a world where almost no one takes a truly long-term view, the market richly rewards those who do. Trust the exponential, be patient, and be pleasantly surprised. I'm actually starting to grow pretty rapidly now. And for so many months, I was making several videos a day on TikTok. They come out everywhere. I've shared this tool, reusevideo.com. That's actually my affiliate URL. I'm their biggest affiliate and their biggest power user. So I don't mind being an affiliate of reusevideo.com because I use it to death. I love the tool. I swear by that tool. And it makes it so that my videos on TikTok come out everywhere on every platform without the TikTok watermark. But I was making TikToks every day, several a day for months without seeing such little progress. Here's something that I do. A lot of people don't know I do this. I write down how many followers I have every morning at 6 a.m. The reason that I do that, I wake up at 6, it's the first thing that I do. The reason I do that is because on days where growth feels slow, I'm like, have I grown today? A lot of people, they give up because they don't realize that they're growing. That's why I did it. Because a lot of people don't realize they're growing. Because if you check, most people, they check how many followers they have several times a day if they're trying to gain some sort of following, like I am. They check how many followers they have several times a day. And because they check so often, it feels to them like they are growing really slow. But if you look at it from a month-to-month standpoint, from a month-over-month standpoint, you see that you're making great progress. And I'm able to see that. I'm able to see, like, I'm actually hitting, it feels to me like I'm hitting that exponential curve right now. And it's a weird feeling. Like, so many people are messaging me. So many people want my advice. So many people want me to consult them. But it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this several months ago. And it just feels like, and now my videos were like the minimum views that I would get would be like several hundred. Now it seems to be several thousand. I had a video that I posted several days ago, got like 10,000 views on its first day, just started going viral again. It's almost up to 100 now, just got reposted by a big account on Instagram where I got tagged. Now I'm growing on Instagram. It's so, oh my God, the exponential curve, you being an exponential curve, so exciting. I'm feeling that right now. You are listening to me in the midst of that. If I get as big as I can get, this clip of me speaking right now it's going to make such a good soundbite for people to use of me. People will go back to this clip in the same way that I go back to Mr. Beast clips before he was big, when he hit 1,000 subscribers just to listen to him, because you want to be an exponential curve yourself. And you can do this in a lot of ways. It doesn't just have to be audience building. Paul Graham has a great quote. Paul Graham says, we underestimate, and Paul Graham is the co-founder of Y Combinator, the company that Sam Altman was a president of. Also a billionaire. I love this. This is Paul Graham. We underestimate the cumulative effect of work. Writing a page a day doesn't sound like much, but if you do it every day, you'll write a book a year. That's the key, consistency. People who do great things don't get a lot done every day. They get something done rather than nothing. If you do work that compounds, you'll get exponential growth. What Sam Altman is saying. Most people do it unconsciously, but it's worth stopping to think about. Learning, for example, is an instance of this phenomenon. The more you learn about something, the easier it is to learn more. Growing an audience, here it is with me. Growing an audience is another. The more fans you have, the more new fans they'll bring you. I'm starting to see this happen. And it's the weirdest feeling. It's the weirdest feeling because I went in the dark for months just putting out videos. They were so bad. And now I'm getting better. And I have all these people messaging me, telling me they like them. If you like my videos too, I want to thank you. Like, seriously, tremendous thank you to anybody who likes my content. I've put so much work into it and I really appreciate it. Here's more, back to Paul Graham. The trouble with exponential growth is that the curve feels flat in the beginning. It isn't. It's still a wonderful exponential curve, but we can't grasp that intuitively, so we underrate exponential growth in its early stages. Something that grows exponentially can become so valuable that it's worth making an extraordinary effort to get it started. And then my final Paul Graham quote, if people consciously realize they could invest in exponential growth, many more would do it. I want to print some of these lines out and put them on my wall. I think they're so great. Back to Sam Altman. I'm almost done reading the Sam Altman quotes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did with Twitter ads today because I'm pretty hyped about it. Okay, Sam Altman. Getting good at sales is like improving at any other skill. Anyone can get better at it with deliberate practice, but for some reason, perhaps because it feels distasteful, many treat it as something unlearnable. I like that quote because I'll admit I'm not very good at sales. And that was actually something that I realized today is the reason, like another benefit of consistency is that you will have opportunities to sell and you will F them up if you are not good at sales. Some people are great at sales. My friend Yuri, who I spent the day with today, he's amazing at sales. He's very good at sales. I am not. But if you're consistent for a long time with one thing, you will get better selling that one thing. Because what happens is you get top of mind awareness in your niche. I talk about this all the time. You get top of mind awareness. You get opportunities a lot faster. You mess them up a lot faster. And as a result, you learn a lot faster. Just like Paul Graham said, learning compounds. Here's back to Sam Altman. Extreme people get extreme results. I think I'm an extreme person, going very hard. Anyone who listens to me knows. I mean, doing a daily podcast, a daily video on TikTok, and a weekly newsletter, while also building a funnel for all of this myself, that's pretty extreme. And I'm starting to feel those extreme results. I'm very proud of how far I've come. As in most cases, momentum compounds and success begets success. Momentum compounds. Success begets success. It's so true. Momentum, I hope everyone listening develops or has incredible momentum. It's the best feeling. When you don't have momentum, it's kind of hard to wake up, or it's kind of hard to wake up early in the morning. And this is something that I noticed. I was living in Warsaw and I just redid my website. And I had like dramatically decreased in the traffic that I was getting from search engine optimization because I hadn't touched my personal website, edwardsturm.com, in years. I redid it, submitted it to Google Search Console, and then I think it was the next day I saw my traffic rebound. And it was so easy to wake up early that morning. And I noticed it's never easier to wake up early than when you have momentum. It's the best feeling. Something else that I heard is that like all good things come to an end, but all bad things also come to an end. So you want to develop systems that are, anti-fragile. You want to develop, the reason I meditate every day, I do 2 types of meditation. I do a sitting meditation where I stare at a wall, or in New York City, I go and I sit on Brooklyn Bridge Park and stare at Lower Manhattan for 20 minutes. Then I have Wim Hof breathing that I do. But the reason I do meditation is so even on the bad days, I have the willpower to get up out of bed. And that's what meditation really helps me with. Back to Sam Altman. Work stamina seems to be one of the biggest predictors of long-term success. I heard David Friedberg say the same thing on the All In podcast. Work stamina seems to be one of the biggest predictors of success. Another, almost always the people who say, I am going to keep going until this works. And no matter, okay, I want to read this again. This is Sam Altman. Almost always the people who say, I am going to keep going until this works, and no matter what the challenges are, I'm going to figure them out, and mean it, go on to succeed. They are persistent long enough to give themselves a chance for luck to go their way. And I feel that myself. I hope I help other people listening feel that. That's my goal with this podcast, really. Like, I want to teach people the marketing stuff that I know, for sure. That's part of this podcast, because marketing inspires me. Building these funnels, that inspires me. Building the types of funnels where I can just do nothing, that's wealth. I heard someone talk about that today. That's what wealth really means. It's when you make money while you sleep. And that's what I would like to build. I'd like to build these funnels so you just make income while you sleep. And I think these very cheap Twitter ads, that's the way to do that. Search engine optimization, bottom of funnel search engine optimization, another way to do that. Going viral, where you put out one video and then it's just going viral and it feeds into the funnel. That's another way to do that. So that's why I like the little growth hacks and the things that can be evergreen. I love those things. And then finally, and as anyone listening knows, I'm very optimistic. This is what Sam Altman says. I have never met a very successful pessimistic person. That is from the article, How to Be Successful by Sam Altman. It is a great read. I should be rereading that article once a year just because it is so good. It's just a reminder of everything to do. It's just a mindset to have. It's such amazing. How to Be Successful by Sam Altman. I'm going to talk a little bit about Twitter ads, and then I'm going to end episode 49 of The Edward Show, Twitter ads. So, like I said in yesterday's podcast, for anyone listening, if this is your first time listening to The Edward Show, I basically figured out a glitch with Twitter X ads where you get millions of impressions and thousands of clicks for a couple of cents, like under $1. I explain in depth how to do this on the previous episodes, but this morning, I just set up a ton of ads. And it's working. It scales if you clone them. And I'm getting so many signups to my newsletter. I'm getting so many people reading the articles on my site because I direct them there. And I'm spending so little money. And it's like I'm starting to think like maybe I shouldn't have shared this because it's so good. But then like I see people listening to this podcast and messaging me and like thanking me for sharing this. And to me, that's more rewarding than like hoarding. I'm not even joking, than like hoarding this to myself, because ultimately what I want to do is I want to build a very solid and big brand from the podcast and from the videos. And like these little glitches, these little hacks, eventually they'll be patched up. And for me, it's an opportunity to share. And I think the benefits that I get from sharing this outweigh the benefits that I get from keeping this to myself. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll be wrong, but right now it feels that way. This is episode 49 of The Edward Show. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to talk to you again tomorrow. It's 8:30 p.m. here in New York. I still got a video to make, but I think it'll be a good one. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.